Recent events in Iran have been a source of great joy and celebration for the Jewish people. A few days ago, a young man, Arvin Garimani, was facing imminent execution, and the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, we stormed the heavens, and his case was deferred. It was a great salvation, a great Yeshua, a great source of joy and pride for the Jewish people. And only shortly ago, the president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, who was a mortal enemy of the state of Israel and the Jewish people, someone who threatened and cursed Israel with annihilation, he's responsible for the execution of countless innocent people, together with the foreign minister, Hussein Amir Abdollahian. These are individuals who their ambition in life was to wipe away the state of Israel and the Jewish people. And they had a hard helicopter landing, and it brought about their demise. And it has caused, in many communities, celebration and joy. And there have been halachic questions. Should brachos be made? Should tachnun be omitted? What should our response be? And I would like to share with you the writing of the Vilna Gaon, which I think could provide us with a very rational, reasonable, and proper perspective of how to view these events in the context of the times that we're living through. The Vilna Gaon is found in his commentary to the Siddur, Avnei Eliyahu, on the bracha, Mishan u'miftach latzadikim. And the Vilna Gaon is bothered, what's this double expression, Mishan u'miftach? Why this double language? Are these synonyms that Hashem is a Mishan, we can lean on Him, and Miftach, we could rely on Him? The Vilna Gaon points to two episodes in history, and he makes us understand that there were these two episodes and these two narratives. There's an element of them that requires further analysis and investigation. When it comes to the miracle of Purim, so there was one particular night that Achashverosh couldn't sleep, and Haman was coming in, and Achashverosh realized there's somebody who did him a favor that he didn't reward, and just then Haman walks in, and Achashverosh says, what should I do to somebody who the king wishes to honor? And Haman says, let him ride the royal horse and wear the royal clothing. And Achashverosh says, okay, do that to Mordechai ha-Yehudi ha'omed beveis hamelach, do that ha-Yoshev b'shar hamelach, do that to Mordechai. And Mordechai had his day in the sun, and he's wearing the royal clothing, and he's riding the royal horse. And the Jewish people watch in great joy, but that in no way contributed to the salvation of Purim. The looming threat of annihilation was still there, was still present. Haman's decree was still going to go into effect. It in no way contributed to the salvation of the Jewish people. So what exactly was this little blip in the narrative of the Purim story? The salvation did not happen until Esther pled to Achashverosh to save the Jewish people. It's nice that Mordechai had his day in the sun, but in the scheme of things, it did not contribute in any way to the salvation of the Jewish people. Likewise, in Mitzrayim, okay, Hashem smote the Egyptians with 10 makos, but we were still there, we were still trapped in Egypt. The salvation did not occur until we left with the death of the firstborn and the splitting of the sea. So what exactly were all those miracles in preparation for that? Says the Vilna Gaon, for the Rebbeinu Shalom to save the Jewish people, what we are required to do, what He wants out of us, is absolute faith in Him, complete reliance on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Recognition, ein lanu al mi lehishayin ela al Avinu shebashamayim, that we have no one to rely on but God. However, sometimes that's very difficult. It's hard when things are so bleak and difficult and challenging, and when it seems like there's no way out, when it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, it's very difficult to have full reliance on Hashem. So what Hashem does is He makes it a little bit easier for us. Even before the total salvation, He brings a small salvation, a small hatava, a small chesed, so that we see that in the darkness, it is possible for the light to shine. What that allows us to do is, Mishan, we can lean on Him. Once we could lean on Him, then we could have absolute faith in Him. So, in Mitzrayim, nobody ever escaped Mitzrayim. We were there for hundreds of years. There was no way out. How could we have complete reliance on Hashem? But when we saw how the Egyptians were smote, so that allowed us to lean on Him, so that when we got to the sea, we can have absolute faith in Him. So the Mitzrayim could be on one side and the sea on the other side, and we could put all of our trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The small miracle allowed us to lean on Him, and the great miracle was the ultimate salvation. But we never would have reached the full trust in Hashem had He not made that small Yeshua and that small Hatava and that small miracle. Likewise in the Purim story, it seemed impossible. Haman had scheduled the annihilation of the Jewish people. There was no way out. But of course, if we would have had complete trust in Hashem, He certainly would have and will bail us out. But how are we going to be able to have full trust in Hashem and put our full faith in Hashem? Well, Hashem says, let me make it a little easier for you. I'm going to show you that amidst the tragedy, I'm going to give Mordechai one day in the sun. He's going to wear the royal clothing and ride the royal horse, and this will allow Klal Yisrael to realize that Hashem is with us, and then we can lean on Him, Mishan, and that will bring us to the ultimate level of Umivtach LaTzadikim. And then the Vilna Gaon says something astounding. Says the Vilna Gaon, V'chein la'asid, likewise will be in the future. Ki meitzeischa mi Mitzrayim arenu neflais. The same way God took us out of Egypt, He will show us miracles. Liois mishan lanu, for us to lean on Him. Bebetchainoi ba'yisbarach. And once we lean on Him, that could allow us to put our full faith in Him. So certainly, we're not out of the waters. To celebrate as if the war is over, as if the Jewish people have experienced full salvation, that's premature. But we have to open up our eyes and recognize these miracles that are taking place are what we call the Mishan. When we see that Iran attacks the state of Israel and hundreds of missiles are fired at Eretz Yisrael without casualty, when we see that our tefillos are answered and the looming threat of the capital punishment is deferred, when we see these Rishaim meet their demise, of course this is not the ultimate salvation, this is not the complete Yeshua, but it allows us to recognize the Yad of Hashem, it allows us to recognize the miracles of Hashem even in these trying times. It is what we call the Mishan. We can lean on Hashem, and that will help us come to the highest level of the Mivtach. And if you notice in Shemona Esrei, after the bracha of Mishan u'Mivtach HaTzadikim, we immediately encounter V'Yerushalayim Ircha Barachamim Tashov, followed by Es Tzemach David Avdecha Mehira Satzmiach. So while we haven't achieved the ultimate Yeshua, we have to take notice of these miracles that allow us to lean on Hashem, and ultimately this should raise us up to full bitachon, and we should be zoicha to the V'Yerushalayim Ircha Barachamim Tashov, and ultimately to the Esemach David Avdecha Mehira Satzmiach, B'bias Gael Tzedek, B'mher V'yameinu. Amen.
Recording stopped.